So we're going to take our first position, feet to begin with. So all you need to do is take your heels together and we turn those rest of the feet nice and wide. So when you're in your first position here, you want your heels touching and the rest of the feet wide. So when you come to the bar, or if you're using a chair at home, you don't want your knees to be facing the bar, you want your knees to turn outwards, just like this. Feel as though you've got like a ball or a yoga block or something between your inner thighs, so you're squeezing up and in. So effectively your kneecaps will then want to lift, so your legs feel really strong. Also another thing to add is your bottom will naturally want to stick out behind you. So if I turn to the side, of course, I'm a big bump, but what I want you to think about is focusing on your back. So naturally, a lot of us will stand, dipping into our back. Sometimes that can give us backache, or it just is a natural stance. There's a tiny little flare of the ribs there as well. In your bar, whether you're working at the bar with your chair, or if you're working in your lunges or squats, it's completely different to what you'd normally do. So, and completely different to yoga as well. So instead of this flare and open space, we want to tuck under. So we want to tuck the tailbone under and squeeze your glutes, driving the hips forward. And that's really going to engage your bottom. So your glutes here are engaged. You can always feel an engaged muscle with it being hard. And this is your first position. So remember that tuck of the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and then the knees are driving wide. So this is your first position, legs. All you do for your second position is change from your heels together to your heels apart. And then when we drop into our plie, remember we want to tuck the tailbone under, so we're not into squat where we slightly stick the bottom out. So that tailbone is tucked under, effectively driving the knees out. You do not want to feel like your knees are collapsing inwards, okay? Back into that first position just quickly, heels together, tucked tailbone. You'll also find your plie here, which you'll hear a lot of in your bar. So with your plie, all you're doing is bending through the knees, and again, you're driving the knees out. Remember, knees are out wide, they're not facing inwards. So we're not here, we are here. You'll feel that into your hips. And just watch from the side, if you come from your first position to your plie, if your bottom then wants to stick out. It will naturally want to give and pop out, so we really need to focus on that tuck of the tailbone. Hopefully you see the difference there with that bend of the knees. You're going to feel so much more engagement through your glutes as you do that. So that's kind of your legs. We will do some other bits and bobs, of course, with our legs, but they're your main two things. Your first position, second position, and your plie. You're going to have a plie heel lift, or rise, you may hear me say, but most of the time, those are those things that you find in your bar class. Your arms up to fifth, above the head. Again, watch once you've taken your arms up. If then you flare the ribs, the bottom sticks out. So we want that tuck of the tailbone, arms lifted, arms to fifth. You will also find your port de bras arms. So your arms just rest lightly in front of you. We lift the arms up, out, and in. So we lift the arms up, out, and in. This is your port de bras. So very simple way, if you're a woman watching this, is to think about the port de bras. You're putting your bra off. So you lift your arms up, and then out, and then back in. When we do our bar arms, whether your arms are up, lifting wide and up, and wide and out, sorry, up and out, sorry. You want to think about having a gentle bend through your elbows. We don't want to lock the elbows out, especially if you hyperextend. We want to bend the elbows, and if you can, if there's not too much already going on in your mind, think about having a little lift of your elbows slightly higher than your hands. So if you had a raindrop falling from your shoulder, it would fall right the way down to your elbow and then off through that index finger. So we then lift the arms up and wide and in. Soft bend through those elbows. And then you can, if you want to, add your weights, which you will do with the circle all the time, having a little bend through those elbows. So I hope that helped.